The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto. This is Cinema Classics.
It is, and I'm telling you, we had a great classic just a short while ago. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah.
And
now you're going to bludgeon everybody over the head with another Western.
I am, and another buddy film.
Okay.
This is 10 years before. So it was 1969. I'm sorry, 10 years before. It was 1959.
Yeah.
And it's called The Magnificent Seven. It happens to be my favorite Western.
Yeah, I know.
And so I just wanted to explore a little bit with you, if you remember maybe the difference between those two. And then we can look at Magnificent Seven as Western.
Okay. Well, the big difference is that the two main buddies pick up a band of other hangers-on.
Yes.
So it becomes a team.
Yes.
So that, I think the Magnificent Seven, which actually is a Western remake, John Sturges remake of the Seven Samurai, a Kurosawa film.
Yeah.
That ushered in this new sort of subgenre of the team action film.
Wild Bunch being the best example.
Wild Bunch comes in 1969, same year as Butch Cassidy.
Yes.
The Dirty Dozen, The Professionals.
Good. Yeah.
You had these team movies,
Yes.
right? So this one kind of starts that. But at the center of it, you have Steve McQueen and Yul Brynner. And Steve McQueen, not yet a big star. Kind of up and coming, right, at that point?
Yep, exactly.
And you have Yul Brynner, who is, I'm not quite sure what his Hollywood star status was at the time. Was he a bigger Broadway star at that point?
Yes, always The King and I was his big, the big product of his dramatic life was that, and I think he carried that.
And the movie adaptation came before that.
So he's a very big star, and McQueen is an irritant to him on the set.
Yeah.
Because McQueen is so flip and just casual.
Right.
And Brynner doesn't come to a horse or a gun easily.
Yeah.
So anyway.
He looks great on one.
He does the black outfit, which must be hot as heck in Mexico, but still was a terrific outfit.
Very cool.
I thought the difference, and as you were talking about the gang, I thought, first of all, it doesn't center as much on McQueen and Brynner as the two leads as it might, as you had in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. In other words, while they were the leaders of the group, Sturges attempted to highlight.
We are not interested in that relationship very much.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah, and it's not a good. It's not
the relationship. I think you could sum up in that opening scene, which is great. They don't know each other, right? There's somebody is refused burial in the cemetery.
Great, you're right.
Because of their race.
It's a wonderful scene.
Because of their race, right? Which is awesome.
Yes.
And then Brynner is the one that he's gonna drive the carriage. He's gonna drive the coffin up to the cemetery. And when McQueen sees that this guy's gonna do it alone, he jumps in and they team up together. They don't even know each other. They exchange names in that carriage ride.
Right.
Now that's very cool, and it's a bringing together these two very different stars, these two very different personas, and these two very different characters. Right? One is slick, one isn't.
And the difference between these and say Butch and Sundance is that these guys are soldiers of fortune, where Butch and Sundance are robbers.
Right.
Charming, but these guys aren't robbers. They're just guys who make money off of their guns.
Yeah.
But there are moments of philosophy, as when Brynner, I think, says, "I've been offered a lot for my work, but never everything." When their little town gives them all the jewelry, everything they have from their town.
Yeah.
What a beautiful thought. Also, in the ending, as they're
and we should just remind people they're helping a Mexican town fight off Eli Wallach's band of Mexican thugs. Really.
Right. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no more malignant, charming, leader of Banditos than Eli Wallach playing Calvera.
Right.
It's just memorable. And then there are quite a few characters here who are memorable. But I guess I was going to skip to the end of that when the two of them ride off in the traditional Hollywood Western way, ride off on their horses. Just prior to this with the old man, the kind of wisdom that comes out of the film is that in the end, for these gunfighters, they don't win. They never win. Only the farmers win.
Yeah.
We lost. We always lose.
Right.
There's that kind of philosophical turn that I love about this film. It's not just about guns. And it's not...
I mean, coming out, you know, it was 1959, probably like some 12 plus years after the end of World War II.
Yep.
How does that fit? It's pre-Vietnam. Is what's happening? Are we in the Korean War at that point?
Probably,
any connection?
Well,
between
yeah,
those
I mean,
things?
we're still talking about outsiders coming in to save.
I mean, because it has...
It's easy to see Calvera as communists. It's easy to see that the Magnificent Seven are an outside force coming in to save.
Yeah, it does resonate with World War II, though. You know.
Oh yeah.
This ragtag bunch of Americans,
Yep.
including the immigrant Yul Brynner.
You know. Yeah.
Coming together to help this farm in this outside kind of realm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
And there are unreal parts of it. For instance, all the Mexicans are in lily white outfits because it was demanded by the Mexican government that they not have dirty clothes.
is that right?
Yeah.
That is really fascinating.
You also have the Horst Buchholz character Chico stay in the town at the end of the film. A kind of unbelievable act when there is zero in that town but that very good-looking lady that he stays with. And, you know, making
But
the
see,
point.
that's true. That does have precedence, and reality. Guys went to war and they'd stay. They'd
Yep.
find a bride.
Yep.
Some of them stayed.
Yeah, yeah.
For
For me, without any movies, theater, music,
right.
what is it but
Yeah, you bring her.
grinding corn?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's interesting too? A couple of these roles pop up in later great films. They echoing their provenance here in Magnificent Seven. Number one, of course, is Eli Wallach in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
For sure.
Right?
Yes.
It is definitely a sort of reprisal of this role in a different way. It's almost as if you're seeing him as in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as Calvera fallen,
Yep.
He's a very similar character. Again, it's outrageous that this Brooklyn Jewish guy is playing this Mexican gunslinger, but it works. I mean, Eli Wallach is amazing in that film, in both films. And one of my little quiet favorites, a lot of people are talking about Westworld on HBO
Yes,
right now,
yeah.
but I don't know how many of them realize that this was a film in the 70s based on Michael Crichton's novel, starring Yul Brynner
Yep.
as the robot Terminator cowboy
Yep.
who goes horribly awry and wreaks havoc on James Brolin and Richard Benjamin. It's a great little movie. It's fun. It definitely has got its tongue in its cheek, and it's talking about the Western, and our fantasy of living that out, and then he's the guy from the Magnificent Seven gone bad.
And don't you think...
Chris, right? His
yeah,
name is
he's
Chris.
Chris. And I always thought they were trying to make some Christ-like salvation.
Well, that's just because you're an
business.
academic.
I know. But then you have Charles Bronson,
Okay.
who
Yeah.
goes on to be a tough guy, even though he's a marshmallow in this movie, and that the kids break him.
Yeah, but he's definitely cuts that brutish
Oh, yeah.
figure.
Coburn goes on to be, what is it?
Flint.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
In Like Flint.
Yeah,
series.
in like Flint. And Robert Vaughn
Yeah,
goes on to be the man from Uncle.
right.
and
And that always fascinated me. Maybe you could shed a little light on Robert Vaughn for me, because the first time I saw The Magnificent Seven, I became aware of Robert Vaughn. He is an annoying screen presence. I do not like his face. I do not like looking at him. He's I don't know what it is, and he definitely is supposed to be this. He's the weak link in this group.
Right. He's a
right?
coward.
He's a coward. He's like you don't know what his motives are. Interestingly enough, he does turn up in another McQueen movie some years later, Bullet.
Oh, he's the cop.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think Vaughn is off the chart for Hollywood. I think you are absolutely right. You watch him and you say, what is it about this guy? But there's a little bit of that kind of suspicious, nerdy guy who's smart, and he kind of, I don't know, he magnetizes you just because you're looking and saying, okay, what's so special about this guy?
Yeah, he throws everything off.
He does. Yes, he does.
And maybe that's why the casting is so perfect.
Yes.
Because you're worried that, there's only 7 of them taking on this huge cadre of banditos.
Yes.
Any one weak link in the group can spell failure, right? And so Robert Vaughn is that. Not only is he that character, but as a screen presence,
Yeah.
he kind of throws everything off. Interesting.
Well, it's a magnificent movie.
It is. It's really fun. What did you think of the remake with Denzel and Chris Pratt?
Oh my gosh. I didn't like it at all.
No.
But I usually like Denzel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It did for me. It's very difficult to ask me that question because I love the original. So.
Yeah, I do too. But I did have a lot of fun with Denzel and Chris Pratt's chemistry. I thought that that made sense to me, and I also think that Denzel as a Western lead was awesome.
Yes,
I loved it. But you're right, though all those little elements just didn't come together in that movie. It's a fun remake, but it doesn't approach the original.
Well, so we can say, in the buddy film tradition,
yeah,
it's not bad, but it's still not Butch Cassidy.